Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Podcast for February 3rd, 2025. So, if you've been paying attention to the channel at all, or the sports world in general, you know there's some big trades this weekend. We covered them in our At the Buzzer segment a couple times over the weekend. We were burning the midnight oil. We wanted to get those out to you as quickly as possible, and they were well received. They got, for us, a lot of views, honestly. So I'm glad that we did that. I will be putting both the segments. I did one with Jack, I did one with Ryan on the end of this episode here. So please, check that out if you haven't already. If you have, they're on the regular channel already. They're already clipped out. But without further ado, let's get into the new news today in the sports world. Starting out with Myles Garrett has requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. There's a statement that was released on his behalf. I saw it from Adam Schefter on Twitter, so that's where I'm reading it from. And here it goes. As a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. And that goal fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of Cleveland Brown fans has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man that I am today. While I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to get from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I've requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. Signed, Myles Garrett. So, obviously a very disappointing outcome if you're a Browns fan here, with Garrett being a former first overall pick, an all-pro, pretty much like the ideal player that you could ask for. He has 102 and a half sacks. That's fourth among active players for him in the league amongst, defensemen, any player, right? The thing with there is you draft him first overall in 2017, you go in 16, 7, 8, and 1 the next year. And then 2020, you go 11 and 5, you win a playoff game, things are looking good. That's when you make the trade. Or actually, the next year is when Baker Mayfield gets hurt, finish 8 and 9. Not as good. Make the trade for Deshaun Watson. He has to serve a suspension. They finish 7 and 10. Deshaun Watson gets to play. He gets hurt. Joe Flacco comes in 11 and 6. And then 3 and 14 this year for a total record since Myles Garrett was drafted of 53, 78, and 1. So that's not going to get it done for a player who, he did put his heart and soul into things for the team. He really was a great player. It's going to be tough for Browns fans, and I want to hear your thoughts there. I've been through something similar in my fandom life with Jason Taylor, getting traded from the Dolphins to Washington. And then he left Washington and signed with the Jets. That was a nightmare. So very conflicted. How are you feeling? Like, if Myles Garrett gets traded, are you going to root for him, or are you going to be like, I just can't? And then I think the bigger thing that I'm sure is weighing on your mind somewhat, I know it would be weighing on mine, and I guess it even is coming into the segment, just trying to get Deshaun Watson, trying to get over the hump, trying to be a team that competes for championships irrespective of potentially morality around their decision making. Was it too much? Did karma come due because Baker Mayfield leaves? Not great in Carolina, but has been really good for the Buccaneers the last couple of years. Nick Chubb gets injured, and now Myles Garrett wants out. Deshaun Watson, who knows what's going to happen with him? Who knows if he's even going to play again, and probably will never play at the level that he played in Houston. And, don't worry about anything else potentially coming out about him. So very disappointing. Is that like the biggest turning point, I guess, as a Cleveland Browns fan in your mind since the Browns have come back to the league? Like, oh man, going all in on Deshaun Watson really set the team back for years and years? Or, are you trying to rationalize it a little more like, hey, we're the Browns, if something would have happened bad? Regardless, I don't know. It does suck, and I feel bad for I feel bad for Cleveland Brown fans on one hand. I don't feel that bad for ones who are like super pro Deshaun Watson, obviously, but yeah, it's tough. It's a tough situation to be in. And it couldn't have been a nice thing to wake up to this morning to see that Myles Garrett wanted to leave the team. So please let me know your thoughts about all of that in the comments. Here's a name that I didn't think I'd ever hear in the NFL again: Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly has been hired as the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's the highest paid coordinator in the league now, making over reportedly $6 million per year, more than the Jaguars' new coach to be their head coach. Chip Kelly is a man who is very much a part of a specific time in the place of football where things were transitioning from the more established, I don't want to say meta, but the more established ways of playing that included, playing it safe, not being risky, long drives, ball control. And then he came in to Oregon and implemented nutrition plans, conditioning plans. The idea was the Oregon offense is going to score quickly. They're going to score often. They're not going to huddle. They're going to go no huddle all the time, up tempo. They're going to exhaust the defense. The defense is going to get more and more exhausted. They're going to score more and more points. And they're just going to basically blitzkrieg their opponents into submission. And it worked really well. The got, to a national championship game with that, right? I don't think they won it, but Marcus Mariota looked incredible in that. And so the idea was we get Chip Kelly, we'll bring him in to the Eagles coming off of, the disaster that was the dream team. We'll have him replace Andy Reid. We got Michael Vick. We have LaShawn McCoy. We have Deshaun Jackson. I don't know if Riley Cooper was already there or he gets drafted when Chip Kelly comes in. But regardless, they're going to come in. They're going to have like an up-tempo, insane offense. We're going to run teams out of the building. And I will say, those first few years in Philadelphia, it does, well, for the first half of the first year, it does work. But the thing that's really haunted him, the thing that's followed him all these years is the fact that he is very much of the Napoleon type of a coach, the type of person who would like be like a tiny dictator almost within the football program. Something that works very well in college where, especially before NIL, these players really had no autonomy. They were at the whims of these colossal collegiate programs. And if they messed up or they got, on the bad side and they had to leave, maybe they don't ever get anywhere. They have to play on much smaller programs and they can't show out for the future for the NFL and potentially, you know, make a lot of money. Now it's a little different in the NIL, but like coaches like that really thrive in the NCAA where they don't thrive in the NFL. Look no further than Nick Saban, right? Very similar type of guy, won a national championship with LSU, came to the pros with the Dolphins, had some success early, but it didn't last, and he ended up going back to Alabama, becoming the greatest college coach of all time. And then once the players got some autonomy, all of a sudden Nick Saban's got to retire. He's got to work for ESPN. He's got to have Shane Gillis call him Alabama Jones and imply that he cheated by paying his players. I don't want to get it on that, but yeah, I do want to take a few shots at Nick Saban as a Dolphins fan. But yeah, that didn't work out for Chip Kelly. He goes, I think he replaces Jim Tom Sula with the 49ers after Harbaugh had the big falling out. Doesn't go well there. Then he becomes the head coach of UCLA, middling as well. And then he comes to Ohio State, and he is like the offensive coordinator, offensive specialist, and he does impress. Ohio State wins the national championship this year. They were an electric offense. They were just a great team. And now he has a chance to come back into the league as an offensive coordinator. The Raiders ownership, including Tom Brady, have decided to give Chip Kelly another chance. And maybe he's learned his lesson. It's been a long time. It's been I want to say 2017 was the last year he was in the NFL. Maybe he has changed. We haven't heard like too much about him, I feel like, since obviously he was not the head coach last year. And even like UCLA is almost kind of like, I don't want to say obscure, but it's not one of the premier programs in college football anymore. So we didn't hear a lot about him there. And maybe because of him, it's not one of the premier programs, at least during his tenure. But yeah, very interesting here. If you're an Eagles fan, can you like give us a kind of on the ground reporting of what Chip Kelly was like as the head coach? Because obviously, not being super plugged in to him as a Dolphins fan, I just hear like the big things, the podcast appearances that are going on to this year of how he alienated LaShawn McCoy and traded him for nothing for just like Kiko Alonso and some picks. And just like, what was the Chip Kelly experience like from the ground floor? Let me know in the comments. All right, I'm going to toss over to At the Buzzer, both those segments back to back. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to At the Buzzer for, I guess, February 2nd, 2023. It is 12:32 in the morning, Eastern Time. Jack and I are jumping on. First of all, Jack, thank you for joining me, of course.
Happy to do it. This is wild times, man. Unprecedented.
Yeah. So we just got the news of a blockbuster trade in the NBA. Jack, I'll let you take it away and then we can talk all about it.
For sure. I think so we just got news basically from Shams, unless this is hacked, which the fact that I'm even like alluding to that might be the case, I think should speak for itself. Luka Doncic traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis and a first round pick, basically, and Max Christie, who's fine. But I I mean, I don't I really have words, Brian. I think this is kind of like this is
Yeah, I feel like I just got done watching the Lakers beat the Knicks like
yeah,
an hour ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's probably it." There's some West Coast college basketball games on, but I'm all right. I'll go to bed, and then I'm back. I'm here recording. This is crazy. What does this do? I guess for the Lakers first, then we can take it from the Mavs perspective here. But I mean,
sure.
why Luca over AD?
I think I mean, Luka's a generational player, right? Like, I think anytime you get the opportunity to get Luka Doncic, you make that you take that trade. You don't really care what it costs at that point. And Anthony Davis is old and broken, basically, for lack of a better term. Like I will say, he's been healthy pretty consistently the last couple of years. But I mean, I'll think at least comparatively. But now, I mean, he's older. Luca is still, I think Luca's 27, 28, and he's a generational talent. I mean, don't get me wrong, AD is great too, but I don't I guess the Lakers have a lot of faith in like Jackson Hayes, I guess. I don't really know what they're doing, to be honest. I mean, again, you get Luka Doncic and you're golden. The Mavs, I don't know if this helps them. This is just like I think somebody needs to wake up the Mavs front office. I have no idea what's happening over there right now, to be honest with you.
What
This
does
is
Mark Cuban think of this? I need his. He's always on Twitter. I need his reaction. What's
yeah. Where's Mark at? He must have reacted to this already, right? I mean, this is
I'll
insane.
I'll look. I'll look. Let me see. But yeah, I
I can,
mean,
yeah,
Mavs, in the finals last year. Where are they right now? Western Conference.
they're fine.
So
They're lower half of the playoff field, but they're there.
yeah, okay. So
Luka's
Lakers
been hurt
are
now for a
right
year.
now 5 and Mavs are 8. Yeah, you just said Luka's been hurt like all year. Is that what
Yep.
you- all
Yep.
right. I mean, yeah, I do. Does this feel like a team configuration if you're going through it in your head right now, like the new look Mavs that can compete in the West, or is this like we're reinventing everything and we're only looking forward? What do you think there?
I think that's exactly it. I think they're reinventing and just saying this is what we're doing now. Like I think to be honest with you, I think the Mavs might have made a business decision to say we're going to compete for now and that's what we're going to do. Our title window is now. Yeah, Luka's excellent. However, if we get Anthony Davis and pair him with Kyrie Irving, who obviously Kyrie is still generational talent himself. Not quite Luka's level, but Anthony Davis, same thing. They're both declining is the thing. So they're going for broke basically. They've seen enough out of Kyrie's play to say we have a chance to potentially win this year as a dark horse, like low half playoff seeds. And the Lakers are like, yeah, if you don't want Luka, we'll take him. Like, happy to do that. So that to me, I mean, I just think the magnitude of this is so hard to process. Like you really have to look at the roster configurations, and there's so much that does. I don't know how Luca and LeBron are going to play together. Like that to me is going to be really, really interesting to watch. But I, I mean, they're again two generational ball dominant, high volume scoring dudes who like can both do it all, right? Like two dudes who are a triple double threat every night are those guys. So I mean, I don't have words, man. Like it is absolutely like just magnificent, like on either side. Like there's so much that could happen because of this.
Right.
And there's also so little potentially. This could be nothing, which is crazy to even think about. The magnitude of this is insane.
Yeah, I mean, from what you're more plugged into the NBA world than I am. Was this like I mean, were people thinking that the Lakers were gonna make a move? Was this ever something that, was even thrown out there? Like, how, like, much of a blind because it feels like a blind side to me, but like I
Yeah.
said, I'm not super plugged in.
No, that's a blindside, man. You nailed it. I don't think this is the equivalent of the Celtics trading Jason Tatum, right? Like that's how I feel about this. Like this is the Celtics trade Jason Tatum. Um, I don't think there is actually another comparison. I think that's probably as close as you get. If I actually think it may be more heavy than the Celtics trading Jason Tatum, which is insane to me because Luca is like he's the guy on that team, right? Jason Tatum is the guy on the Celtics, but there are people around him that can also like pick it up when he's not having a great game, which we've seen over the last couple of games. I don't know, like I don't know what the Mavs are doing, man. Like that's it. They're selling on Luca. I don't know. The only thing that I can think of is like there is something that they don't like about Luca, whether it be a personality thing, whether it be a conditioning thing, maybe like that. Those are the things that I don't want to say that I go towards initially, but like I like that has to be the case. I just don't get
Maybe they were like, "Hey, this guy, huge Overwatch fan. Marvel Rivals is out now. He's gonna be playing way too much. We need to
hurt
sell as
again.
high as we can. He's gonna be hurt. He's gonna be, I don't know who he was mating in Overwatch, but so I don't have a good comparison. But yeah, maybe they're worried about that, Jack. That's the hard
Hey,
hitting analysis.
maybe Mark was
Yeah,
playing Cuban was playing, saw him on there. He's like, "What are you
mm,
doing, Luca?" And was like, "I can't have this dude on my team." And then
yeah,
shipped him off to LA. And that's it.
yeah. This is crazy. I mean, and to have like okay, I get it's like 9:30 on the West Coast, so like, but
True.
like I feel like this is still like a crazy time to be making a trade, right?
Yeah. Oh,
They're
for sure.
announcing it. I guess probably wasn't officially announced, right? It's probably leaked.
I think it was officially announced. I think it
Oh
was
wow.
it was Shams. Yeah, like the full details are everywhere. So we could even run through that, right? Full details, I think
Yeah, let's do
were
that.
they were, if I'm correct on this. So the Lakers get Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris, who Maxi Kleber is a decent, like I would say probably will be starting center on the Lakers, if I had to guess. Um, he definitely wouldn't have been on the Mavs if he stayed there. Uh, and Marquise Morris is like old but fine, old but good, right? He'll be end of bench guy, I think. The Mavs get Anthony Davis, obviously Max Christie, who is a young budding player. He's not excellent, but he's good. He gets solid minutes for the Lakers every night, and a first round pick from LA. So I think you have to bank on them kind of sucking it up in 6 years after. Well, not 6 years. I guess that's a lot closer now. That's 4 years. And that's hopefully a top 5, top 10 pick at the very least, because the only player that the Lakers will have at that point is Luca. So that's it. And Bronny. And then the Jazz are involved as well. They get, I think, just due to make the salaries work, they get Jalen Hood-Schifino, who was on the Lakers end of bench guy. Clippers second round pick and a Mavs second round pick. So they just kind of benefit. I don't think they actually give up anything, which is weird. So good for them. They're are there to get Jalen Hood-Schifino and acquire 2 second round picks. Must be nice. But I mean, crazy. I think you're muted, Brian.
Hey, we're doing this instant
This is
reaction,
live. This is live.
yeah, sorry. Well, yeah, we're not live, but we're gonna try to get it up as fast as possible. So minimal editing. We'll see if that gets edited out. But yeah, this is so crazy to be on Sham's Twitter account right now because he has like the initial tweet, and so many people are like, "No way, this is like fake, like hacked." And he has like a quote tweet of himself being like, "Yes, this is real."
He's like, no,
Like,
this. I'm not kidding.
yeah, this is
Luca
crazy.
is Luca is 25.
Mhm.
That
That's
is insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, can you like off the top of your head, like think of a similar young superstar
Oh,
getting traded? Like, not where one is like a huge, argument or like like a Jimmy Butler situation right now, but like this is so crazy to me. It feels surreal.
it does feel surreal. This to me, this is so biased and like so homerism, but like this to me is like when I was waiting up on the night. Actually, it was my birthday of when the Celtics traded Marcus Smart for Kristaps Porzingis, and there was like that
Mm,
weird wonky stuff going on. That level, it is nowhere near that level though. The Marcus Smart and Porzingis trade, nowhere near
yeah.
this. I don't think I have to honestly think about it. I would maybe say like the Red Sox trading Mookie Betts. Like that is
So I had to get
like
an entirely other sport here.
I yeah, dude, I was thinking about from a basketball perspective, and I don't know off the top of my head if I could come up with one. I to me, this is as if the Cavs traded LeBron, basically, like when he
Right.
was 25 years old, which is
Right.
insane because
Yeah.
Luca's heralded as one of the best players in the game right now. So
Mhm.
I feel like this is somebody traded young LeBron or somebody traded young MJ and was like, "Get out of here, dog. Like, see you later." Or
Yep.
and the closest equivalent I could think of right now would be the Celtics trading Jason Tatum.
Mhm. Yeah, man, this is just so wild. Just like what a weird thing to have happen. And I think like, if it is like the Mookie Betts trade, Dallas is gonna be tough. Listen, Red Sox fans have not been
No,
loving stuff since then, but LA once again
no, that's
beneficiaries
nothing
of,
cool
the superstar trade. But they'll be fine if they'll be anything like the Dodgers are. So
for real.
yeah, I mean, obviously that's like the instant reaction. Do you have anything else you wanted to add before we get out of here?
No, man. I mean, I know we're focusing on the Lakers a lot. I think the Mavs have become very much win now. So good for
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
They're rebuilding a bit. I guess they didn't think they could do it. That's what I take from that. Not with Luca, at least.
It's gonna be interesting. I can't wait. I can't wait to just, see them play, see all the reactions from everyone in the morning who's asleep right now. It's
Dude.
gonna be fun.
I said this to everybody I know, so I'm really excited to see everybody else reactions from the people I talk to that barely know basketball. Man, this is
Mhm.
gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and shout out to Ryan for sharing it with us in our group chat. He's not able to be
Who's
on
that?
this episode, but if it weren't for him, you know, I was in bed, like, about to turn over and be like, "I'm gonna go to sleep," and then I'd see that message on my phone, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, I'm awake. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I'm
me too.
wired now.
Same.
I'm gonna have to play Marvel Rivals now to calm down or
Yeah, I need to
something.
settle, dude. I need to find a way to
Yeah.
settle down. This is insane.
Oh, man. Alright, anything you wanna plug before we get out of here?
I guess find me on Twitter. I'll be scream reacting for the next 24 hours. I can guarantee
Yep.
that. And that's at Jack_Tiernan. So follow me there.
Awesome. Yeah, follow me on Twitter as well, at the Fake BMR, BMARR. Channel is on Twitter at Wicked Good Sport. And then this channel is, of course, Wicked Good Sports. Our main channel is Wicked Good Everything, and our podcasting channel for podcasts that are not sports related is Better Radio. Um, this will probably be its own standalone video. Maybe I'll tack it on to the end of the Monday podcast that I do. I don't know. It just feels like I'm not gonna hold this. That's not the point of
No, right.
recording it. And now I'm gonna put this up hopefully in like 20 minutes if my internet is, working. So yeah, like I'll see you all Monday, probably talking more football and stuff, and hopefully we'll get a Saints head coach hiring this week.
Hopefully.
So we can talk about that on the Bayou Breakdown. Everybody, welcome back to At the Buzzer. This is the second episode for February 2nd, 2025. Because very early this morning, Jack and I have Zach Levine on the mind because I just put him in the thumbnail. Now, Jack and I jumped on. We talked a little bit about the Luca trade. That was big. Now, Ryan and I are here to break down another blockbuster trade. So here's what we got. Darren Fox is going to the Spurs along with Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings receive Zach Levine, City Cisco, 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and the Bulls receive Zach Collins, Trey Zones, Kevin Herter, and a 2025 first-round pick. Ryan, what does this all mean? What are your first reactions to it? Just let me know your thoughts.
Well, we had heard that De'Aaron Fox was asking for a trade, right? And we know that the Kings had fired their head coach, Mike Brown. I think this trade kind of confirms what a lot of people were thinking is that, Fox may or may not have had a role in pushing that, in that, it was just maybe a situation where he had a little too much control. He wasn't happy. So it was time for him to leave. Um, so the best location for him to go for sure in terms of making a team very competitive would be to go to the Spurs, I think. You see, like the Bulls, I mean, the Bulls have been kind of in like basketball purgatory for years. There still are, it's like get rid of Zach Levine. Zach Collins, he gets hurt a lot. He's okay. Kevin Herter, he's fine. And Trey Jones, yeah, he's okay. So, yeah, like,
What was the
really,
incentive for them here, do you think?
for the Bulls, I just think they were honestly trying to, in all honesty, they were trying to dump off Levine,
Yeah.
trying to get something out of it. What did they? Yeah, they ended up getting like,
Bulls got Zach Collins, Trey Zones, Kevin Herter, and a 2025 first-round pick.
they get their. I think they got it was their pick they got back, right? Or
They
was it
did get their pick back up, so their pick is via the Bulls, sent to the Spurs in the DeMar DeRozan trade.
Yeah, so I mean, they get like they kind of did a little bit of what where it's like you just get some guys that are like fine that you can just throw in your rotation, they'll play, and you get a pick back. So I mean, I think it makes the most sense for them, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, definitely the Spurs are, that's the big key piece. I actually think the Kings made out with a ton. You get Zach Levine, so like him, Sabonis, and DeRozan, it's not like incredible, but they'll still probably like make the play in.
Mhm.
They can be
They're
a
well
pain.
set up for the future now too, right?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a good trade. And now you have 3 first-round picks, right, and 2 second rounds. I mean, I think that's a decent enough haul
Mhm.
with the picks for him. Yeah, the Spurs lose Trey Jones, who they weren't really playing anyways.
Mhm.
Zach Collins has been in and out of rotation. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great trade for the Spurs in theory. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, so the Spurs right now are the 12th seed. They're 21 and 25. But do you think this will make them like a legit competitor for this year?
So here's the thing, can it? Absolutely. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is already an All NBA player. You could double check for me if he made the All Star team. I think he should have. Very, very good player. Right, definitely a great number 2 to go with Wemby. But the thing is right, this guy we know years ago, Tyrese Halliburton was traded so De'Aaron Fox could have his own team. He's had his own team. He played with Sabonis. They got DeRozan. So I mean, if he's not happy with that kind of stuff, I mean, he's going now. You're going to the Spurs, where I mean, I'm sorry, you're not the number 1 priority, and you're never going to be, right? It's always got to be Wemby, and Popovich runs a tight ship over there. I don't really think he's going to let De'Aaron Fox call the shots. But if De'Aaron Fox is willing, if he was like, yeah, I want to go on this team, I want to play with this kid, I want to win. They could be very competitive very quickly. Gives Chris Paul, who's 39, something like that, doesn't have to play as many minutes. In theory, it could work very well, but we just have to see how De'Aaron Fox is willing to adjust. And you're playing next to a guy who is already a top 10 player in the league. I think should have been a starting all-star. Is probably, I think, is on the trajectory to be an all-time great.
Mm-hmm.
So you've just got to be willing to play with him and willing to make adjustments. And if you're willing to do that, it will work.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Popovich has proven that he can bring a team of, talented players and then a superstar all together and have tons of success. Could be the next coming of that here,
Yeah, and you got two. I mean, you do have I would say two superstars. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is a very good player. I mean, probably the fastest. Maybe the fastest player in the NBA. Amazing downhill point guard. Is shot way better from three. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I mean, they're very good. I mean, he's a guy easily can get you 25 to 30 a night.
Yeah, right now he's averaging exactly 25 points.
Yeah, I mean, with his the biggest thing for him, the downhill threat, the spacing that can provide for Wemby, also the potential for lobs for the two of them. There's so much potential there. I mean, it was definitely, to me, when I saw De'Aaron Fox was a possible trade asset, I mean, the Spurs definitely was the most enticing destination.
Yeah, and I thought it was very funny last night when Luka got traded. Someone, I think De'Aaron Fox tweeted a reaction to it, and someone's like, "Don't go to bed, you're next." So he was next. So I feel like there's been already an insane trade deadline.
No, it definitely has. And to be honest, it's more interesting because I was kind of wondering. I was like, all right, so maybe there's this theory, maybe Nico Harrison, he's already kind of partial. Maybe he's a little partial to the Lakers. I don't know. I think he has a connection with Clutch. He, that's kind of how him and Kyrie got to get along well and all of that. Mm-hmm. He's friends with AD apparently, or they have a good relationship. So he's kind of like, all right, you know what? Luka's kind of a pain. So what I'll do is he's not going to sign with us in a year and a half, and it's a difficult fit. So I give him to a team I want to see be successful in the future. Mm-hmm. I get my boy AD, but what kind of the last piece to me, it's just to trade someone like Luka, you've got to have a bigger plan than just AD and Kyrie. And, they have Derek Lively. They did just a ton of moves in the front court last year to accommodate their very strong offensive backcourt. So I'm kind of wondering if there's a last piece for the Mavericks. Are they going to opt for a third player? De'Aaron Fox would have been the most enticing. The one left is Jimmy Butler.
Ooh. All right. That could be interesting.
Yeah, but who do they they don't really want. What do they have? The Mavs have Derek Lively. I'd have to look at their picks.
Yeah.
Derek Jones.
I mean, they have Klay Thompson, right? That's
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, maybe the Heat are into that. Just to not give up. He wears a headband, he likes to he gives off the vibe always that he's playing hard.
Yeah, that's true. That's important. Spo will love that. That's a Spo guy trait, I feel like.
Exactly, yeah.
And the less talented he gets, the more Spo will, like him for giving
That's true, and the harder he tries,
yeah.
Then he makes a three and does does a little.
But yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, we'll be here, this week. I assume, maybe even tomorrow be back on another call talking about some other crazy trade that happened.
The Luka trade, that's probably the craziest trade
in sports history.
Sports trade we're going to see in our lifetime. I mean, to find anything comparable, and you have to go back to like the Red Auerbach like picks,
Right.
where he gets like Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, like Will somehow like Will Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor end up on the Lakers. It's like those kind of trades, and it's always with these teams, right? So it just goes to show it's like there's something else.
Dealing. Yeah. Dude, I was trying to like even conceptualize what an NFL version of this trade would be, and it's just like
I don't think there
there's
is.
nothing that could be like this,
Yeah,
The best I came up with was Josh Allen getting traded to the Rams for Matt Stafford and like a
that's
first
a good
round
one.
pick.
I was thinking
That'd be
just to
crazy.
contextualize it in terms of the potential. It's just like you trade like Jalen Daniels, like after
Yeah,
you just
Jaden.
like Jaden, and you trade him for what like
A rising
a
superstar.
very good older player, a very good player who's like 29. It's just kind of like really like that might just blow up in your face, right? And it is like Luka's a very like aggressive player, right? I just does this kind of piss him off? Is he like, you traded me for just Anthony Davis, and does he go off? I mean, we'll see. It's going to be very interesting. Him and LeBron is a weird fit. I really wonder how like Austin Reeves like works into that, but I guess like with the three of them, it's like you're never going to worry about having like a kind of like a facilitator playmaker on the court. Yeah, it's an insane trade.
I know. I'm so excited for the first Lakers lineup with Luka in it to just see what it looks like and how they play together.
Yeah, I guess Luka and Reeves in the backcourt. I don't know if maybe they pair someone else, and have Reeves come off the bench. But I think it's got to be the two of them. I think they've been running Dalton Neck at the three. I haven't been paying a ton of attention to the Lakers, so I'd have to look. There's some guys. LeBron right now might be playing center.
That's what. Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, maybe LeBron is their center now.
I mean, he's done it. I mean, guy can play 1 through 5. Again, you could. I know people have talked about throwing Luka in the post and stuff, but I just,
don't know if that's his bag.
I mean, it just is gonna ask for a lot of hustle.
Yeah.
A type of hustle I don't know that he's super interested in. You got to play to Luka's strengths,
No, definitely. Anything else from this that you want to touch on, or from the Luka trade? Anything? Floor is yours.
No, I'm just kind of curious to see what the Mavs are going to do. Again, to me, it's just like if you're going to do this, I feel like there's got to be one more step. Like AD, Kyrie, him. I get it. Like Luka was hurt, but I feel like there's got to be one more move. It's just interesting to me. I guess like you run like 2 ultra bigs, but like him and Lively, and then they've got Gafford, DJ Washington. Kind of like a 4, but like bigger guy. It's they're the team I'd kind of keep my eyes on in terms of making another move. I'm kind of worrying if the Bulls are going to try to trade Vucevic now. That takes a lot off the table for the Warriors. So I guess like I don't hate Vucevic going to the Warriors. I don't think that's a move that really takes them over, but it does give them a big that stretches the floor a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see. I'll just keep my eyes out for, again, the Mavericks. We'll see if anything happens with the Butler situation. We'll have to see if anything happened, if the Warriors are going to make any moves now. That's all I got.
Yeah, West, tough. Real tough conference.
It's
very thankful that the Celtics are in the East right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, those teams made moves.
That's true.
We're going to see how they work out, The Lakers, it's really this year. I think it's up in the air. We'll have to see. Is Lucas still hurt? I think.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Do you want to plug anything before you get on out of here?
I got nothing, bro.
Thank you so much for watching all of the segments. If you like them, please subscribe, Share them with your friends. If you somehow aren't tired of me already, please subscribe to our main channel, Wicked Everything. We cover video games, movie, pop culture, all that on that channel. And then if you're really, really not tired of me, we have a whole channel dedicated to our podcasts that don't have to do with sports. Obviously, this is the Wicked Sports podcast on the Wicked Sports channel. But we have a bunch of podcasts over there for you to check out. That channel is, of course, Better Radio. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.